Okay, speaking of that, our next speaker, when I think of him, I think of bulldog tenacity. He is a fighter. He's scrappy, very loving person, but, if I were to describe, how do I do this? What would be a good, just like a grizzly bear. Once he grabs onto something, you ain't gonna get away. He's so tenacious. Words like tenacious and tenacity, but he's just with a smile on his face, you never know. But inside there is a dead, cold stone killer. With a smile, he's amazing. I don't mean that in a bad way, right? Are you guys with me? I look all this. I look all smiling, jovial. I'm an absolute killer. I'm motivated. I'm inspired. I love to compete. Let's go. Are you with me? Anybody competitive out there? Find someone in here. Like Joey sat you around. I hope you go, I'm passing him next year. I hope you did. Pat Hayes had about 157 people. I go, I'm passing him. And then there was Scott Lewis. I go, I'm passing him. I love Scott. These are my friends, right? And then you pick people you can run with. Some of you need to pick somebody. Now, Jay Kinder was 6,500. He may not be that person for you if you're just getting, are you with me? It may be Cindy, right? How long have you been in EXP now?
About
4 months. Maybe you find out how big her group is. You go, I'm going to pass Cindy, right? But she's done so much in her first 4 months that Jean and I wanted you to hear her story. And so why not you? It could so be you next year, okay? All right, so with that, help me welcome my dear friend. He's an amazing human being, Matthew Stewart, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Brent. Hey, everybody stand up real quick. I'm going to do what Sean Work reset here. Come on, we've been sitting. Move around a little bit. Get some energy in the room. There's amazing people in this room. Clark Broom, I was going to actually mention him at 18 years old on my birthday. I signed up in Amway, and I was in his business under a guy named Richard Batista. Yeah, so it's just neat to see the different people in the room here. And Don Yoakum recruited me when I was a young buck at Coldwell Banker. Got licensed at 20 years old. You guys can sit down now. Awesome. Got my license at 20 years old. My parents have been brokers for 48 years, with my mom being the #1 realtor in Placer County in the late 80s, early 90s, and swore I'd never get into the business. Absolutely swore I'd never get in, because back then when my mom was doing the business, it was, press hard, there's 3 copies, and there was no email, and there was no internet, and there was no, fax machine was like the biggest thing going. It was $1,500, and you put the paper in here, and it comes out in another city or town. That's amazing, mind-blowing. So it's pretty crazy where we're at now. But anyway, I ended up getting my license and moved over to Keller Williams in 2000 with Don Yoakum in the Roseville office. Was there for about 9.5 years or so. Was blessed to be invited to be part owner in 3 offices, very minority owner in 3 offices, and things were good. I was building a team, and was a young guy, and so on. But started to get burned out. Was on the transactional treadmill. I'm like, man, there's got to be more. And I grew up with it, seeing my mom on the transactional treadmill. We never had a vacation, because she couldn't afford being away that much time. We're really blessed now with technology, wouldn't you agree? You could do business here, right? There's people closing deals and so on. So anyway, I started doing the KW thing, was building a team like Don was saying, earlier, with KW, they really taught building a team, so I did that. And I just went, golly, I'm kind of getting a little burned out here after about 13, 14 years or so. And went on a trip down to San Felipe, Baja California, and kind of fell in love down there. There was on a real estate tour, and I went, wow, this is amazing. You can buy oceanfront property for like half the price or a third the price. And I kind of saw their business model, and my buddy had gone down prior and came back all excited, bought a lot or two, and So I went down and I said, man, Mark, we could duplicate their model, and it's like 10% commission down there, and this is awesome. And we're selling beachfront property, and we'll do 3-day tours, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I go, this is fun. This is a lot more fun than selling a house in Rio Linda, or no offense to Rio Linda, but, Anyway, so we started doing that, and we were selling bare dirt and vision, and there's going to be a marina out here, and there's going to be, condo towers and a golf course, and I could see myself hitting the ball down, wrapping it around the cactus, and it was going to be amazing. And well, anyway, it all fell apart. The one development that we were selling, that was Arnold Palmer Golf Course design and so on. The head guy, one day the FBI came from over the border into Mexicali. The federales took him away, and his name wasn't the name that we thought he was, and it was a different name, and guilty of bank fraud in 2 states. And all of a sudden, our clients' deposits were all of a sudden gone, and it was like my partners and I just, deer in the headlights going, oh my gosh, what do we do? This is crazy. What do we do now, So we had some of them sue us. It was $350,000 lawsuit. And we went all in. We had no money at the time because the market crashed. This was 05, 06 in Sacramento. The peak was June of 05, and it was a downhill slope from there on. And so now we're forced. We got this lawsuit and no money coming in, and we invested a ton of money into building this Mexico business. And I'm back to selling individual single-family homes, but I don't have the money to do REOs, and you got to, pay for the mowing the lawns and the electricity because the banks aren't doing that. It's on you, man. You got to do that. And I go, I am broke. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I'm newly married in 2006, and my wife goes, gosh, I kind of feel like a roommate. Like, you're just a roommate, and you're not even paying. So I was broke. I had no money. I go, babe, I'm working my tail off here. It's not like I'm, sitting at home on the couch watching TV. Like, I'm working hard, and it's just, I'm chasing the market down and so on. And so it was really, really rough. And anyway, so then I got into short sales. That was kind of the only thing at the time that you could kind of do without a lot of money, without having money. So I started doing that, and anyway, I was always have been a learner, and I would say I'm probably speaking to the choir here that all of you are learners and doers and so on. That's why you're here at the Mastermind. But I thought, man, how can we become an expert at the short sales and really get more deals going and get some money going so I can, show my wife that I can help pay the groceries and all this stuff. And there was a gentleman, a national trainer that was teaching A, B, B, C, concurrent closings, so on. And I thought, wow, that's pretty brilliant. And I won't go into the details how it works or what have you, but so I flew to Vegas put it on the credit card. I didn't have any money. I was racking up debt at the time. Learned about it, came back to my broker, and I said, okay, here's the whole plan. Like, it's all laid out. I just spent the whole weekend doing it, learning about it, but I need your approval to do it. You're my broker, review it. So he took it over the weekend, and he said, okay, yep, looks pretty good. I don't see anything illegal in there. You can go ahead and do it, but just don't tell any of the agents in the office because it's pretty complex, and I don't want to get into all this. But you can do it, just keep it on the down low. So I said, okay. So I had 11 listings, and the biggest spread of the ABBC was about $160,000, not counting my commissions. And I thought, man, this is going to help me get out of my $80,000+ debt and really get things, back with my wife and, be able to contribute, which is important as a man in a new marriage. And but then after a while, which I never closed one of them, by the way. They were super hard, and it was a crazy time back then in the wild, wild west of 2006, 7, or 8, 9, 10, 11. So I ended up switching them to a processing fee, a short sale processing fee, because at the time, DRE never came out and said that you had to be licensed to do a short sale processing. There were stay-at-home moms doing short sale processing, checking in on the bank, so on. So I said, okay, well, we'll charge a 3% processing fee because some of these short sales are 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 months. And anyway, kind of shorten the story a little bit, that was about 2009. I found out that DRE was investigating me for doing processing fees. And I went, wow. Well, actually, they didn't tell me what they were investigating me on. So I even called them. I said, hey, guys, I don't know what's going on. Apparently, you're investigating me. Like, you want to let me know what's going on? Because I'll totally make changes. I just want to do everything, right. And they said, nope, sorry, we're not here to protect you. By the way, DRE's not here for us in this room. They said, we're here to protect the consumer. And I go, that's why I'm calling you. Let's protect the consumer together. What do I need to change? What's going on? Nope, you should hire legal counsel. I said, wow, I don't have any money. Okay. So anyway, I went, it wasn't until, kind of fast forward a bit, it wasn't until about 2012. So that was 2009. Imagine having a failing marriage where at one point I'm sleeping in my private office for 30 days on the floor because we were separated our first year, so much stress, right? I took on the head coaching job at a 4-year Christian university in 2007 while the market's tanking. Bad idea, right? Newly married. Talk about stress. And I was so naive, I had no clue what I was getting into in regards to starting a 4-year collegiate golf program. I'd never done it before, but I'm always like, sure, I'll do it. I teach my wife, I'm like, babe, we need to be yes people. Like, somebody says, hey, would you? Yes, we'll do it. Yes. Right? So I actually got called by the university to start a golf program, and I said, okay, yeah. Now, kind of a sidebar for Clark, we had recommended tape, okay, in the Amway business, and our, every week we'd get a tape in the mail, and we'd put our cassette tape, and they'd have teachings and so on. Well, one of them was to create a bucket list, which it wasn't a bucket list at the time, but create a list of everything you want to do before you die. And one of them I wrote on there was to coach at a 4-year university, either basketball or golf. I was 18 years old when I wrote that down. At 33, I got a call from the university, from the athletic director. I'd never met him, didn't know him, and he said, hey, we were told that you might be interested in being the head coach for golf program. And I'm like, who told you that? But yeah, yes. So I did that for about 5 years. Everything was kind of culminating. 2010, my wife ended up leaving me. 2012, the athletic director said, hey, you know what? You're going to have to either retire from William Jessup, or we're going to have to let you go. There's a lot of stuff going on with, what you got going on with real estate. It was on the front cover of the local newspaper and the Sacramento Business Journal, and it was just rocked my world. And just, basically what I tell people is the Lord absolutely stripped me clean, other than my health. Thank God. He let me keep my health, but he took everything else away. Reputation, my identity, which my identity was completely in the wrong place. My identity was that I'm a successful realtor and I'm respected as a realtor. And he said, no, you're mine. You're a child of God, created in my image. And whatever you do, whether you sell coffee, which I ended up surrendering my license in 2012, and now I go from a 6-figure income to 0, divorced, reputation, like what's going on, man? And now I'm selling gourmet coffee and tea, and I don't even drink coffee. But it was the network marketing, and they'll take anybody, right? So I did it, and I went all over the nation, then over into Nigeria, and went over to South Africa, and built teams there, and it was really a phenomenal experience. And then I clawed my way back, got my license in 16, restricted license. 2 years later, I got a broker's license, unrestricted, and then in 19 joined EXP. It's funny, I actually heard about EXP 2 months before Brent did. I got a call out of the blue. I don't even remember the recruiter's name or what have you, but I thought, and I never even saw the plan. I never saw a video. I didn't see anything. They just explained it on the phone. Don doesn't remember this, but I called him after I saw it because I have so much respect. He recruited me as a young guy to KW, and him and Tom are my sponsors today. But I called Don. Do you remember this call, Don? I said, hey, there's this company, EXP. He's like, yeah, I've never heard of it. And I said, yeah, I'm thinking about it. What are your thoughts? I really value your opinion. He goes, I think, with everything that happened to you, I think you should join Tom Dave's team and be like, a buyer's agent or something, kind of get back. And I was like, I'm not doing that. But anyway, so I called and talked to the president at the time. This was before Dave Kennord. And she said I couldn't join because Sacramento was so new. Brent hadn't joined yet, hadn't known about it. And they said it would be we think it would be a taint in the market. It's such a new little baby market that with your reputation or what have you, it might hinder it or something. And that just was like such a blow, after everything else I'd gone through. I'm like, wow, okay. And so it wasn't until November 2019 with my wife bugging me for a year. She's a title rep. Sorry, 2 years. 2 years. My wife, Lexi. And I kind of cut through the story. My new wife, right? Yes, I upgraded. Yeah, and so that was big time. Yeah, actually sat behind her in church, and this red hair. I just went, holy cow! I wonder how it is in the front. And she turned around, and my heart skipped a beat. I went, hey, it's pretty good. And so that's a whole nother fun story. We had our first date, and it was the worst one of my entire life. I mean, the worst first date ever. We didn't go on our second first date for a year and a half. So when he talks about tenacious and so on, I literally did not give up, even though the first date was so bad, and we did not do anything for a year and a half. That fast forward, we got married in 2016, and then 19 joined EXP. We have about 130 some odd people in our organization now. And it's been a long climb back. But I share all that because there were some things I wanted to share with you that I've learned along the way. And let me kind of go over those just real briefly. That there is a plan laid out just for you. I don't know about all of you in this room. I obviously believe in a higher power. Jesus Christ owns me. He died on the cross for me, and I'm a bondservant serving him. And so I have to remind myself all the time that there is a plan laid out for each and every one of us, okay? And it's not always just a straight linear up. Sometimes it's this and so on, and we all have our individual story, and it's okay if you're not building as fast as the next person, okay? And that's one of my notes on here is don't compare. I'm speaking to myself because I compare all the time, and I'm like this, what is it, Brent, quiet desperation, or that you say? It's just like this, yeah. Desperate inside. I just feel like I should be doing more, and I'm, frustrated with myself and all this stuff, but I have a smile and, and so on. But I'm sure many of you in this room are similar to that. You see some of the leaders come up and you're like, oh my gosh, we got in at the same time and they have 3,000 now and we only have 700 in our group or something. We should be there too or what have you. But, it's interesting. Don shared something with me about A.J. Maida. He had about 150 something in his organization, and in 1 year it jumped to 900 and some odd people. 974? 971, right? So, but it wasn't year one, I don't believe, right? I mean, it might have been year 2 or year 3 or what have you. The point is, it could have been year 5. You got to stay in the game, stay in your lane, put blinders on. It's like the horses that race. They put blinders on so they're focused on their target. You got to do that and realize and trust there is a plan already prearranged and set for you. You will have setbacks. You will have disappointments. They're all part of the plan, okay? And they also make victory that much more rewarding and more sweet, right? Remember, stories sell, facts tell, right? His story, right? You said that earlier. I love that. All right, and then some big things is you need to trust, and you need to believe, and you need to work. Right? It's not, even though there's a plan, you can't just sit on your couch and not do the work, right? I love that, Joey and his wife are doers. That 3 weeks later, they had an event. I was at that same event. We didn't do that. Shame on me. That's awesome. I'm super impressed, right? I have here, be persistent and be patient. Be patient. Gene Frederick shared that with me today. He goes, you got to be persistent and you got to be patient because your time will come. Your time will come. If you're putting the work in, it will happen. And you guys, this model can literally change your life in a blink of an eye, because there will be people that will enter your business that you may not have personally brought in, but it'll be somebody that you know, okay? And then they may have brought 2 or 3, not a real, big, huge producer, but they know someone, and then your 4th level, it's just a builder and a runner, and it just explodes, okay? And your life, and one leg of business can transform your financial future in this business, this model. It's incredible. So be persistent, be patient. And also, ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. There's so many people that are getting ready to get ready. Stop getting ready to get ready. Go do it. Like Joey did 3 weeks later, had an event. Just do it, okay? Now, the key to eliminating the fear, because they mentioned superpowers, and I go, Brent, I don't know what my superpower is. I only got 130 something in my group. I mean, there's people in this room that have way more than me. Why are you having me speak? And he goes, Matt, you're like I thought a honey badger today. Honey badgers, you ever see those videos? Like, honey badgers don't care. Like, they just, and that's, like he said, I'm a grizzly. Well, that's one of and Don Yoakum said, hey, Matt, that's one of your superpowers. You are fearless. You will call anyone. Well, when you've had your reputation completely stripped away, you don't care what other people think of you. And somebody mentioned earlier today, they said, hey, what other people think of you is not your business. It's none of your business, right? Get clear on who you are, because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Each one of you are special people, made in the image of God, okay? And you have something special to bring. So just know that and love on people. Be persistent and be patient. And one of the keys, I think, to eliminating fear when you're looking to call that big, huge producer, which, by the way, one of the aha moments, right, is the aspect that these top producers don't know the model. Everyone's so flippin' scared to call them. What's the worst they can tell you? No, don't ever call me again. Lose my number. I'll give you a secret. You go, okay, hang up, right? You probably didn't make that big of an impression on them anyway. If you called them 2 months later or 3 months later, they won't remember. You're like a new person calling them. I do it all the time, right? They won't remember. They're so busy, okay? They're on that treadmill, like Don said. Now, edification is the key to destroying fear. I'll say it again. Edification is the key to destroying fear. One of the great things about the network marketing industry is they teach you how to edify, okay? We got to get better in EXP on learning how to properly edify our success team. We don't have upline, we don't have downline. Eliminate that from your vocabulary. It's terrible, right? Oh, MLM, doors closed. But you have success partners. You have a success team. When I call, okay, I don't talk about myself hardly at all, okay? I am automatically going in talking about my success partners. One of my partners, he's a gentleman who built 10 offices from the ground up, scratched over 2,000 agents. Kind of a little pause, and they go, wow, I let it sink in, right? Because if you talk too fast, it won't sink in. And then I go, yeah, and my other partner, gosh, he was the #1 Keller Williams agent in the world 7 times. Pause. And they're like, wow. I go, yeah, but wait, there's more. And I say it like that. I go, like a late night TV thing. I go, but wait, there's more. And I laugh. And I go, geez. And my other partner was the #1 agent in RE/MAX for the entire state of California. And I go, I'm actually the underachiever of the whole group. And I laugh at myself, and they chuckle. And when you get them laughing, it breaks down barriers. But so it's not about me. So that eliminates the fear because I'm talking about these hitters, and there ain't anybody on the phone that I call nationwide that's going to be a bigger player than those 3 players I just mentioned, right? Now they're thinking they're talking an equal, and now I'm in connector mode. And that's what you guys need to get into is know the stories of your success team above you and get in connector mode. Just be a connector. Be the doorman at the hottest club in town. And there's a line around the building. You're like, hey, I know the guys. Come in here. Okay? So edify your business partners, and you need to know their stories. With that, I'll stop because I know we're running a little long. I want to respect everybody else's time.